So we'll see the command. So how to make a tunnel, VPN GRE tunnel in Packet Tracer, we'll see. See here I have taken two routers, R1 and R2, and R1 R2 actually connected over longer distance and connected through the serial port, serial interface. Okay, this serial interface is like a public line, it's a public link. So data being transmitted over this public link. So in order to secure that data, we are going to make a VPN tunnel. So this tunnel we are going to make. So this is a private and secure tunnel between R1 and R2. We are going to create this tunnel. So we'll see how we are going to configure this on R1 as well as R2. So before that you have to give this IP addresses whatever given in this figure. Now we'll see how I am going to configure one side of tunnel which is on R1. So you should be in global configuration mode, and interface all are in small letter. This is all are in small letter. Interface, I am going to create tunnel 1. So tunnel space 1. Then I am going to give, for that tunnel I am going to give a private IP address. See here, previously this serial port actually assigned with public ID, because this is a public link already I told you. Now what the tunnel I am going to create, no, this is actually a private tunnel, so that I am giving private ID. So this 1.0.0.1 is public ID and 10.0.0.1 is private ID. So this is this 10.0.0.1 is the IP which I have given in R1, and 10.0.0.2 which I have taken in R2 side. Okay. So for R1 I am giving IP address, that is 10.0.0.1 space subnet mask, that is 255.255.255.0. Next you have to give actual tunnel source, actual tunnel destination. See here, for example, R1 want to communicate with R2. Then R1 is the source side, R2 is the destination side. So what is the R1 actual source address mean? 1.0.0.1. Okay. So this port ID I have to give. Don't give this IP. If you give, it will show invalid. So you have to give this serial interface number, that is S0/0/0. That is only for source side. Whereas in destination side, directly you can give this IP, that is 1.0.0.2. See, that's what I have given in the next line. Tunnel space destination space 1.0.0.2 exit. So I have configured the tunnel of one side which is on R1. Now I am going to do the same thing on R2. So configure on R2 interface tunnel 1, same tunnel, this tunnel number and this tunnel number both are same, and IP address, see this figure. Now IP address for tunnel, what I am going to give, 10.0.0.2, right? So I have to give IP space address space 10.0.0.2 space subnet mask is 255.255.255.0, and again tunnel source I have to give, and tunnel destination, actual source and destination I have to give. And remember that source means you need to give a interface number, and destination you can give directly the IP ID, IP address you can give directly. Okay. So what serial interface number I have taken this side is S0/0/0, and destination is, obviously we know destination ID is 1.0.0.1. So I hope you understand how to make the tunnel between R1 and R2. This is what the command. This PDF I will forward to you along with this video link. Okay. and we'll see how we are going to create a tunnel in Packetrizer after this explanation. Okay, tunnel is now completed. Creation of tunnel is done. Now you need to give IP route configuration on R1 and R2. See, why I need to give this is because, see here, under this router I am going to connect one private network, right? Under this router R2 also I am going to connect one private network, right? So this router doesn't know this router private network. Similarly, this router doesn't know whatever the network is connected directly with this router. So I have to give a, what is this ma? This is nothing but a static routing configuration only. So I have to give IP this route configuration on R1 as well as R2. So we'll see on R1 you need to give IP space route space 192.168.2.0. This is a destination address. Destination address in the sense that 192.168.2.0 is the network connected. So in both the routers we actually configured this route. 192.168.2.0 is the destination for this R1 router, and 192.168.1.0 is the destination network for this R2 router. Okay, so after the network ID we have given subnet mask. So after that, next hop, which means next that is tunnel ID only we have given here, because data now going to transmit through tunnel. That's why tunnel ID only given here as a next hop. Okay, this is for two routers, and these two routers, I make a tunnel between these two routers, and these two routers are physically connected directly as well as through cable, through serial port. These two routers are connected directly. If the routers are not connected directly, then how we have to? Same commands only, one small changes we need to do. Small additional default routes we need to do. I'll explain you. See here in this scenario, in this topology, three routers are connected: R1, R2 and R3. R1 and R3 are directly connected through serial interface. Here this side R2 and R3 also directly connected through serial interface. On both the sides I have given public ID, here 1.0.0.1, here 1.0.0.2, here 2.0.0.1, this side is 2.0.0.2. So I wanted to make a tunnel between R1 and R2. Okay, between R1 and R2. See, in this topology R1 and R2 are not directly connected. Okay, so in this, how I can make a tunnel? We'll see. This side I am taking in this tunnel with R1. So R1 side I am giving IP 10.0.0.1, and in R2 side I am giving IP 10.0.0.2. I have taken like this. Okay, previously also we have taken the same way, 10.0.0.1 and 10.0.0.2. The same thing here also I have taken, but the main difference is R1 and R2 are not connected through any serial interfaces, right? So configure on R1 whatever we did previously, the same thing only you need to write here also. And R2 configuration on R2, that also the same thing. IP route configuration, which we did no static routing, that is also same thing, but along with that you have to give default route also, default route configuration on R1 and R2. So why we are giving this one means, because see, your physical connection is, it is like R1 to R3 and R3 to R2, like that only. So you need to give a default route so that default route you need to give, because R1 and R3 are connected through the serial interface, and R3 R2 also connected through the serial interface. So physically there is no connection between R1 and R2. That's the reason why default route we have to assign on R1 as well as R2. So that's the reason why we have assigned default route. We know already this command IP space route space 0.0.0.0 0.0.0.0. See here I have given that same serial interface public ID, whichever the next, see here from R1 this is the next hop ID, that ID only I have given here. Similarly for R2 next hop ID is 2.0.0.2, that only I have given here. So here I have not given tunnel IDs. This 10.0.0.1 and 10.0.0.2 is not given here. Okay, this 10.0. this IDs you have to give only when you are configuring this one static route. That time you have to give. So we'll see this activity in Packet Tracer. The same VPN GRE tunnel, how we have to create that and all we will discuss in Packet Tracer for with 2 routers as well as with 3 routers. So welcome to Packet Tracer. So I am going to implement VPN GRE tunnel. So for that first I am going to take 2 routers. So with 2 routers I am going to make the tunnel. Okay. So turn off this and drag and drop, turn on this to get the serial ports. And similarly in this router also turn off this and drag and drop, turn on, so that you will get the serial port. Now I'm going to make the serial connection between these 2 routers. Okay, done. Right. So these 2 routers, between these 2 routers, how we are going to make a tunnel, we'll see. How I am going to make a tunnel between these 2 routers, we'll see. Okay, I am going to make tunnel, VPN tunnel between these 2 routers. Right. Now I am going to take I am going to connect a switch and PCs under this routers. So here 2 PCs, sorry 2 switches, and here 2 PCs. Okay. Right. Now I am going to, I will do the configuration here. I need to give a directly I'll give. So serial port, I am going to serial port and directly I am giving IP address. So what is the IP address now for serial port? Here we have discussed already now. See, according to this I am going to, so 1.0.0.1, 1.0.0.2. So that's what I am going to give. So here it is 1.0.0.1. Subnet mask is this one, and turn on this. So one side is over, and go to the next router. Serial port. Here I have to give 1.0.0.2. So both sides completed. Now this serial port, I have assigned the IP address to these serial ports. Now for gigabit Ethernet also parallelly we will finish. So gigabit Ethernet also I am going to give a ID, that is 192.168.1.1.1 1.0 network I am going to take under router 0, this router, under this router. Okay, turn on this. My enum, you know already this commands, so you have to do in CLI only. So because I don't have a time, so that's the reason why I'm directly doing in GUI, but don't do in this, do with this commands. Okay, so this router is done, and here I'm going to, the same way I'm going to give, this is 2.0 network, 192.168.2.100. this is a gateway, and turn on this, no shutdown. So both I have completed. Now I am going to do a connection from switch to router. So I configured G0/0, that's why I am connecting with G0/0 only in router. See here, 0/0 already I have given IP, so that's the reason why I just connected with that gigabit Ethernet interface. So with PC also do the connections. Similarly this side also do the connection with PC. Fine. Now done, right? So all this one is over, but I need to create this tunnel. Okay, still I have not created, so I am going to the router 1, that is router 0. Okay, already you know the command. See this commands. What is the command? Already we know this command: interface tunnel 1, IP address, tunnel source, tunnel destination, exit. So that's what I am going to type in this router. I hope it is visible to you. So interface tunnel 1. So tunnel 1 is, now see here, changed state to up. So now I am going to give a IP address to this tunnel, that is this side, which is okay. IP address I am going to give. What is the IP address, ma? Here, what is the IP address? Here we have taken 10.0.0.1. This is what we have taken left hand side, and right hand side is 10.0.0.2. I hope you remember that. Now this ID I am going to give. This this ID I am going to give. That IP I am going to give. Okay. See here, IP space address space, that ID I am going to give 10.0.0.1 and 255.255.255.0. Okay. Next we have to give tunnel source. As I said, tunnel source is, actual source is this side. See here, this one, S0/0/0. Okay, that I have to give. So S0/0/0/0. This is for source. For destination, you have to give the direct ID. So what is the destination ID? Just check, we'll check in this. What is the ID? What is the ID, ma? I remember that ID. Shall I write? It is 1.0.0.2, I think, correct? Done. Right? So this is over. Now give exit. So one side is completed. In the same way you have to do in the another router also. So one side tunnel is over. So we'll see in this router also the same thing I'm going to, which we already done in R1, the same thing I'm going to do in this router also. So exit and interface tunnel space 1, and here you have to give the IP address, that is 10.0.0.2. This is another side. See here, this ID 10.0.0.2. So 10.0.0.2 space 255.255.255.0. Done. Next you have to give tunnel source. What is the actual ID? Actual ID is this side. Actually ID source means you need to give this serial port number. So serial port number is S, this side S0/0/0, right? So give that S0/0/0. Enter. Next tunnel space destination. Here you need to give which ID IP value we have given this side for this serial port. I remember that. What is the value we have given? This side you need to give this side. This side you need to give destination. No, this is the destination, so you have to give 1.0.0.1. So exit. So both the side completed, right? Both the side completed. Now we can check more. Finally I'll tell you how to check. So now we have to do IP static routing we have to do. So for that I am going to assign the routes. So IP space route space, what is the destination network address that you have to give, which means this side router, next router ID is 192.168.2.0 network, correct? Space 255.255.255.0. Next hop I have to give. Next hop in the tunnel. Remember that in the tunnel, what is the ID you have given? That ID you have to take it as a next hop here. So that is 10.0.0. I'll show you. See here. This one you have to give. Correct? Which one? This one. This 10.0.0.2 is the next hop from this router to reach the destination. Destination is this one. If this is a sender, this is the destination. So that time this will be the next hop. So that I am giving 10.0.0.2 here. Okay. So this is done. And as I told you, you have to do the default route also. So for that I am doing IP space route space. No, here not required. No, 2 routers means not required. Sorry, 2 router means not required. Okay, this is done. Next, one more router also we need to do now. So in this router we'll see the same thing which I typed here. The same thing I'm going to do here also. Okay, what is that? IP space route space destination ID is 192.168.1.0 space 255.255.255.0 space next hop is 10.0.0.1. This is a tunnel ID, whichever we have given for tunnel, that ID you need to give. Okay, this is also done. Okay, so we'll check now whether the pinging is happening or not. We'll check. Okay, We'll check from this PC to this PC. Okay, still we have not given IP, no, sorry. We'll check we'll give the IP to this PCs. So I have to give the IP to this PC, that is 192.168.1.1, and here gateway which I have given in router, that is 192.168.1.100. This is done, and here also they have to give IP. Here IP is 192.168.2.1, and the gateway is which we have given already in the router, that is 192.168.2.100, right? Now IP assigning, everything is done. Now we'll check pinging from first it will get failed. See here, now I got successful. See here, see here, I got successful, right? So how come I know tunnel is enabled here? So to verify that, I'll tell some commands, few commands. You just use those commands to check tunnel is enabled or not. So mostly we will use, you know, that command. So exit from, you should be in global configuration mode. So use this command, show IP space interface space brief. See here, in this tunnel 1 is already created. Tunnel 1 is already created. Yes, I hope it is visible to you. Tunnel 1 is already created, right? This is one way of verification. Another way, so I will tell you in the another router. See, in this router I will show you. See here also we will check the same thing, exit and show IP interface space brief. So you can see here also this tunnel 1 is already created and both the status are up. Interface status also up and protocol also up. See, full screen I will show you. See in this mode, this is a status of interface and this is a protocol of interface. Both are up. Okay, right? So see here, I have configured with the 2 routers as well as 3 routers. So with 2 routers also I have configured the GRE tunnel, and with 3 router also I have configured GRE tunnel. So see, we'll see the pinging from here to here. Yes, I am getting successful. So I will tell you how to check the output. Already I told you in router you can give this command, show IP interface brief. That command you can give. So in that you can check whether the tunnel is configured or not in any of the interface in router. And one more way also we can check. See here, from this PC to this PC, now only I did the data transmission. I am getting successful, right? So now go to this PC. Just a minute, I just remove this one. Yeah, go to this PC, then go to command prompt, and you can use the command, that is trace the root, that is trace RT space 192.168.2.1. so that 2.1 is this PC's ID, this PC IP address, right? So that I am giving. So we can see the root, we can see the root. See this root. First one is 192.168.1.100. That is this one. That is this router ID. Here, this one, G0/0 ID. And next one is, see this one. Next one is 10.0.0.2, which means this one, this tunnel ID, correct? This one. Alright. And next one is destination ID. So now we understand tunnel is created, right? So in this way you can verify your output. So next we'll see here already configured for 3 routers. Only one difference I will show you. See what is the difference? Already I told you that is default route also you have to do. One second more, I'll show you. Where is that? If here it is, I'll show you. No, here not there. I think it is not there. Okay, anyhow, as I told you, default route also you have to give in this router as well as in this router. Okay, default route means IP space, root space. I'll show you. Where is, one second more, I'll show you. So this one, this command also you have to give. This one, last line, no, these 2 lines you have to give. Okay, right, this 2-line command you have to give, right? So I have given here also. Let me check the pinging from this PC to this PC. First I am getting a failure, then I will get successful status. See, successful. So I am getting successful. So let me check tunnel is configured in this router or not. So what is the command? You already know. Config t. No. Here only you have to give that command. Show space IP space interface space brief. Enter. So you can see this one, tunnel 1. Tunnel 1 is already configured in this. So like that you can check. Okay. So another way already I told you, go to one of the PC, then command prompt. Here you can give trace RT space 192.168.2.1. This is what the destination address which I have given. See here, my tunnel is created. That's the reason why here I am getting 10.0.0.2. Even though third router is there, but this third router doesn't know this address. Similarly, this third router doesn't know this address also. Okay, this router doesn't know any of the networks under this because it bypassed through this tunnel. Okay, I hope you understand this VPN. If you have any doubt, you can post your doubt in WhatsApp. Thank you.